Hi, my name's Kalen Kennedy and this is Making Sawdust. Got a fun project for you. Gonna turn this piece of scrap maple into a mallet. It's gonna require a lot of glue up, so I'm not sure how strong the finished product will be, but there's only one way to find out. Let's get started. Alright, here's the design I went with. The handle is 13.5 inches long, the head of the mallet is 5.5 inches wide. Put a 5-degree bevel on both sides to make it a little more ergonomic. Already made some marks on the mallet, just need to take them across with the square. Five of the pieces that make up the head of the mallet get ripped down to 1.5 inches. Now it's time for glue and clamps. If you're going to build the head of a mallet from glue, make sure you're very generous with that glue. It's what's going to hold all the pieces together. We'll let the glue set up for an hour or two before we keep working. Alright, so here's roughly what the end of the mallet will look like. You can see how I staggered the joints from the 3 different layers. The next step is to rip this middle layer down so it's the exact same width as the outer 2. And now before I glue these 3 pieces together, I need to cut out of this middle layer so that the handle can go in there. But rather than cutting a straight channel, I'm going to cut it on a little bit of an angle so that afterward I can drive a wedge into the top of the handle and it should spread that out to grab the mallet. This is set up at about 1.5 degrees. And now, it's time for more glue and clamps. We just want to make sure that as we assemble these pieces, we leave enough room for the handle. Once again, don't be stingy with that glue. We'll come back in about 20 minutes to clean up the glue squeeze out, but we'll leave these clamps on for about 2 hours. While we wait on that glue to set up, we can work on the handle. It's just a straight piece of wood, but I can curve over these edges to make it a little more comfortable to hold. I've set my router table up with a 5/16 inch roundover bit, and I clamped on a vacuum to take care of most of the dust. Now we can put a slot in the top of the handle with the bandsaw, and it'll be ready to put the mallet on and put that wedge in. been a couple hours, took the clamps off, and now I'm ready to put that 5-degree bevel on either side of the mallet. Now that I look at it, I think I might round over some of these edges, and then putting on the handle is the only thing left. Alright, I rounded over the head of the mallet on the router table and a little bit with a sanding block. Let's see if we can get this wedge in here. On an earlier attempt, the wedge was too long and too skinny and drove right down through into the handle, cracking it. There might come a time where I decide to make a new handle, but I don't think this one's going to split anymore, and it'll work just fine for now. If I do make a new handle, I'll make it a couple inches longer, and if I make a new head, I'll make that inside angle a little bit smaller. That's all for this time. If you enjoyed this video, please share and subscribe. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. Have a great weekend, and get out there and make some sawdust. Now I know what you're thinking. Why do I need a mallet? I'm not even a woodworker. I'm just watching this video because I'm bored right now. Well, imagine this scenario. This is your kitchen counter, and when you're done drinking your drink, you set it down there on the edge. Your spouse gets mad at you. Well, here's an easy solution. Out of sight, out of mind. Here's another scenario. You're sitting at your desk, doing your paperwork, when all of a sudden, the wind comes in, blowing your papers all about, and making it impossible to work. Well, here's the solution. Now it'll take a tornado to move that paperwork. And finally, I like it, just because if you build it right, it sure come back to you if you ever need to throw it.